Welcome everyone to the municipality of Strathroy-Caradoc, our regular council session on Monday, July 6, 2026. The municipality of Strathroy-Caradoc acknowledges that it is located on Treaty 21 territory. We are thankful to generations of people who have taken care of this land, including Chippewa the Thames First Nation, the Munsee Delaware First Nation, and the Oneida Nation of the Thames. Roll call, Councillor Pammer is absent for this portion as she's declared a conflict in closed, but she will be here for the open session beginning at 6 p.m. Motion to approve this evening's agenda. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Kennis, all in favor? Opposed if any, motion carries. Declaration of pecuniary interest, Councillor Pammer has indicated so to the clerk. Are there any others?
Pecuniary interest, Mike?
Yeah.
Pecuniary interest?
Oh, for the whole evening? I thought
Yeah,
we were
the
just
whole
doing
evening.
closed. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. Pardon me. Yes, I do on 8.1. Direct pecuniary interest. I'm a subcontractor to Middlesex Community Living, the applicant on that.
Okay, thank you. Council will now move into closed session at 5:01 p.m. For the purpose to discuss the following. One item in accordance with Council's procedure bylaw to approve the in-camera meeting minutes of June 15th, 2026. And one item pursuant to section 239(2)E of the Act as amended regarding litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality in section 239(2)F of the Act, as amended regarding advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, ongoing litigation involving the municipality. Motion to go into closed. Councillor Brandon, second by the Deputy Mayor. All in favor? Opposed if any, motion carries. everyone. Closed session adjourned at 5:55 p.m. and open session resumed. Motion to resume open session. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Hippel, all in favor, opposed or any, motion carries. Council met in closed session to consider matters it is permitted to do so under the Municipal Act and as listed on tonight's council agenda. The following items were considered during the closed session. One item in accordance with council's procedure bylaw to approve in-camera meeting minutes of June 15th, 2026. Those minutes were approved as written. One item pursuant to section 239(2)(e) of the Act regarding litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality, and section 239(2)(f) of the Act regarding advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. Ongoing litigation involving municipality. Legal advice was given to council. Direction was given to legal counsel and staff. Motion of the direction given in closed session be approved. Councillor Kennis, second by the Deputy Mayor, all in favor, motion carries. Before I proceed, are there any further declarations of pecuniary interest? Councillor Palmer, then Deputy Mayor.
Public meeting number 1, the party involved is a member of the Chamber of Commerce for which I'm employed, and also 13.2.4, the Rockets, Strathroy Junior B Rockets, also members of the Chamber of Commerce for which I'm employed.
Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, on all of eight inclusive, in direct pecuniary interest, I've already filed the documents with the clerk.
I do not believe we have any delegations this evening. I don't see any. Okay, we'll now move to the public meeting for 8.1. Motion to the public meeting to consider an application for a zoning bylaw amendment for the property located at 3 Industrial Road, Strathroy, be hereby open. Councillor Pelkman, second by Councillor Kennis. All in favor, motion carries. Mr. Williams, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council that are still left. Thankfully, we have quorum. So this is an application for a temporary rezoning of the property to allow an additional use. The property is located in Strathroy, as you've noted, in the York High industrial area. And it operates as a sort of a day operation now, or currently, for the Middlesex Community Living. And what the operators are looking to do is allow for overnight stay just on a temporary basis, if there is the possibility, or if there is a situation where they have a labor disruption, they would consolidate their operations into this one location. So currently doesn't have that. It offers the ability to convert easily, and that's why it was chosen. The director is here as well for, say, questions about the operational aspect of things, but they have already been working with the fire department and building to explore what would be required, minimal changes to the building, which is one of the criteria that we use for planning applications such as this, that there would be no major changes necessary in order for this to happen, which would then make it more difficult to convert back. So in this particular case, planning staff are recommending approval. The report goes into some more details on the policy side of things, but this would be also a situation where we're recommending approval tonight, which means that our bylaw is on the agenda as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I did note there's additional information, applicant agent, and was there anything else? Okay. Any comments and inquiries by the public? Any comments and questions from members of council? Councillor Wilsey.
So just looking at the report, I see the reasoning for it is in case there's a labor strike. But I also see that it's in violation of both the Middlesex and Strathroy-Caradoc official plans. So I guess in my mind, maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but it seems like we are helping management prepare for a strike they think is coming, and then overruling our two official plans to let that go. I guess, can I get a little bit more background on that? Because it just seems like it's, it seems like preparing for a potential strike that they think is coming is maybe not the best reason to against two official plans.
Mr. Williams.
Certainly, I would say that the two things are separate, except to say, the question is, if they were to come to us and say, we're looking to allow for overnight stay of people on this property for a short period of time, we'd say, why? And so I guess the answer is that there's this possible strike and this is the best site for consolidation and alike. That's the only, we then set that aside, and so I leave that as background and context. And we look at the official plan where it speaks to temporary uses and says that despite what the different parts of the official plans will say, if you're dealing with a temporary use, you can suspend some of those aspects for a temporary period of time. An example we do on a regular basis is when we have two dwellings on the same property in a farm setting. We would not, normally you wouldn't be allowing for those two homes, but we say we'll suspend those policies that say that that isn't allowed and allow for those people to build that second house, and then they'll tear down that other house. This is a little bit different than that, obviously, but for them to be able to return back to the use of the property today would take, they're basically putting up fire smoke detectors. That's all that's going to be necessary. So maybe some additional doors and alike, but really they could potentially even leave all of this stuff there and it would have no impact to their operations. So what I would say is I certainly understand where you're going with it about the official plan does speak to these areas being industrial or this area being industrial. However, there's those pieces of the official plan that allow for that to be set aside on temporary basis like this.
Councillor Pelican.
Yes, thank you. I tried to look at this through the lens of how both the public and maybe perhaps the employees or the union for Middlesex Living might view this, and we're not aiding Middlesex Community Living in fighting against the possible initiative. I think what in the end here what we're doing is we're allowing some individuals who have some high special needs to be cared for when the agency is going to be aware they have less staff to work with. They're still going to be carrying all the costs of the houses that these people are normally in. We're not restricting the right for people to picket in front of it if that's what they chose to do. There's nothing that we're restricting the employees or the union of Middlesex Community Living. We are just allowing the Middlesex Community Living to have a contingency plan to care for people, and that's what we're dealing with here is people that have high special needs. In this building has, if my memory serves me correct, a lot of things built into it already to accommodate those people with the high special needs if their special needs become even heightened and you get behavioral issues. So I'm in favor and would be happy to make the motion to support and it is temporary rezoning for this item.
Two more motions and we'll get there. You can bring the motion. Any other further questions? Seeing none, then motion to close the public meeting. Councilor Canis, second by Councilor Wilsey, all in favor, motion carries. Two motions in front of you are the application for temporary rezoning be approved and further the bylaw number 60-26. be referred to the consideration of bylaws section of the agenda for consideration and approval. Councillor Pelkman, second by Councillor Hippel. All in favor? Opposed of any? Motion carries. Thank you. Approval of minutes. There are 3 minutes in front of you this evening for approval. The regular council meeting minutes of June 15th, the strategic priorities meeting minutes of June 8th, and the special council meeting minutes of June 15th. Someone bring a motion. Councillor Canis, second by Councillor Pelkman. Any questions regarding the minutes? See none, all in favor. Motion is carried. Consent agenda, there are a number of items in front of you. I'm going to ask if anyone wishes to pull any for discussion. I'd like to pull 2 if you'd indulge me. 10.1.3 and 10.2.2. Does anyone wish to remove any others? Councillor Wilsey.
10.2.1 and 10.2.3.
Okay. Any others? Okay. Seeing none, I don't feel like changing seats with the deputy mayor, so I hope you'll back me up. 10.1.3 is a letter from the Royal Canadian Legion branch, request for municipal support and funding for downtown Memorial Crosswalk. My simple motion is this, if somebody will bring it for me, is that we ask for a rather brief staff report on costs and other considerations that may be involved with such a request. If anyone would bring that, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Wilsey, all in favor of that motion? Carries. I just have a comment on 10.2.2. I want to compliment our building services department. This is something and I really appreciate the initiative. I know the public does, and I've said it a number of times, both privately and publicly. We hear nothing good things about the building services department. So thank you for the initiative, and I hope you carry on with it again next year. So Ben, please pass on my thanks. Councillor Pelkman.
Yeah, I just might tag on to that because I did attend the permit night just to see how it went, and it was interesting to hear the conversations, and it allowed for a very free and open conversations with people who really didn't know the process or how things went. So I thought it was a great idea, and yeah, kudos to staff for coming up with it.
Right, Councillor Wilsey, 10.2.1.
Yeah, I just had a few questions on this one. So with the financial statement disclosure, we talked a bit about this during the 2024 audit when it came through. And I guess my first question, when I look at that, is did MMP state that they had the error and they revised their audit report to read 1.468 million instead of 2.136, or did we do that? So that's my first question.
Through the chair to Councillor Wilsey, so the 1.48 was found by us when we started to review it, that they actually had made an error in their calculation. So instead of being the 2.1, I think was originally in their document, it turns out it was 1.4. So once we started reviewing it with M&P, they realized there was a calculation error, so it is actually the 1.4, not the 2.1.
Okay, so they've corrected that and we're refiling the 2024 audit with new numbers then, or? Because this is the provincial document we had to file.
Through the chair to Councillor Wilsey, it was basically the document that they presented that there was an error. So on their error sheet, that was reflected. So I guess we could ask them to resubmit if you wanted their error sheet, but we just felt, based on the discussions, once we started getting into it, this is what the numbers came to.
Okay, so I guess that's two parts. So MMP agrees that that was an error on their part then? That wasn't just us finding it? Okay.
Correct.
And wasn't our audit followed with the provincial government? So if we have it's part of our 2024 reporting, so do we not need to update that, or is that immaterial if we update the government if we change our audit?
No, because M&P flagged it as an error, It was flagged in the statements, but it was made note that there was this error in the statements. So the statements themselves don't change, it's the error statement that MNP would have presented to council that would change. The financial statements stay the same.
Got a follow-up on that one, Greg, or you want to move on to 10.2.3?
No, I'm not really done with this one. I guess I'll move on with that one. That seems odd that we'll change the, yeah, I'll let Councilor Derbyshire ask. I need to think about this for a minute.
Sorry,
Sorry, yep, go ahead.
sorry, just before we move on from this one, just so I thought I was clear, but maybe I'm a little lost here. So in our financial statements, it said 1.468. But in their report, they wrote down 2.4 or 2, sorry, let me get the correct number here. 2.1.6. Is that what happened? So the reports are right. It's just when they brought their report to us at council, they wrote the wrong number. Is that what's being said? So all the government documents that were handed in and processed are correct.
Through the chair, Councilor Derbyshire, you're correct. So what it is, all the official documents, we'll call them the financial statements, all those are not reflected by this. It was an error statement. So it was a statement of errors that came to council that showed the 2.136, which once we started reviewing it with MNP, as requested by council, it actually turned out that they had a calculation error in their calculations, which made that error was really 1.4.
Anything
And
else?
there's no change to the financial statements required. It was basically just a statement about our statements.
Did you have a follow-up, Councilor? Turn to Councilor Canis.
Just to comment on that, I expect we're going to see the 2025 statements shortly, and if there is any errors or past mistakes that need to be corrected in there, those will show up in the 2025 audit. So,
Okay. Councilor Wilsey.
Yeah, and I guess the second one on that same one is with the useful life that we used, and I see that changed that from 1.4 down to 300 and something thousand. So did we pass a new asset management plan, or how did we change those useful lives? Were they misreported previously, or because you mentioned later on the report that in other municipalities it wouldn't be that big, but we're not other municipalities. We don't use Middlesex Center's plan. So I'm just trying to figure out how, if our plan changed, or why we're reporting using another municipality's numbers like that. I don't understand that part either.
Through the chair to Councilor Wilsey, so other municipalities report their useful life based on their asset management plan. In our statements, they're based on our financial useful life. So back in the day, in 2009 exactly, when municipalities started reporting on capital assets, they had to set up useful lives. Then in 2014, when the province brought forward the asset management plan, there was then what is typically called, and you'll see it in the report here, segregation. So for instance, roads. The base that a road is built on is probably lasts 100 years. But what happens every 25 years or thereabouts, they go in and shave and pave, they call it. So they shave the top surface off. The pavement doesn't change. They just resurface. So it adds useful life. So what this does is sort of reflects that now with our new financial statement disclosure.
Councilor Wilsey, it's still your 40. You still have 10.2.3 wish list.
Councilor
Oh,
Derbyshire.
sorry, I didn't see you there. Both looking around.
Sorry, so it wasn't actually, it's not a numbers thing, it's a formula thing.
It's actually a clerical, the way we report our useful life is really what it is. It's clerical, it's not really in numbers. The numbers are the same, it's just the way that they're reported, the way that we report our useful life. So you can see the change that takes place. So in our current statements, you'll see the new land improvement is 10 to 50 years, whereas in the old one, it was 10 buildings, 10 to 60. So what, instead of the building, because now we have pieces of this building, like the HVAC system. HVAC system is nowhere near 50 years in life. It's really closer probably to 10 to 15 years. So what's gonna happen is you'll see that the disclosure or the note that says our useful life, it basically broadens the years in which those different assets are covered. You can sort of see the changes as we go forward. If you look at the report, the table on the top of page 2 is what was currently in the financial statements, and what you'll see in 2025 is at the top of page 3. So what we've done is expanded or reduced the years that those assets are recorded for.
Okay.
So,
Okay, one follow-up, then we're gonna move on to the next one, because we've gone around about this one.
sorry, so we changed that or the standard changed? Like, I guess that's, like the formula itself, I guess that's probably what my question should have been. What is the formula for finding this out? And how does the formula change or not be right? And if the formula didn't change, who made that change?
So when we brought in asset management, we didn't change. We looked at the way we reported our assets in our asset management plan. Financial statements are financial statements. Financial statements actually record amortization, whereas our asset management plan looks at useful life and full life cycle costing. So just giving the example of buildings, for instance, we would be depreciating a HVAC system according to our financial statements, over 50 years, when in fact the useful life on that HVAC system was really only 25 years. And what we would be doing in our asset management plan is actually depreciating it over the 25 years. Yet we're disclosing in our statements that it's being 50 years. So it's a clerical error, I would say, not a calculation error. They were always being calculated the proper way, but the issue has been that the way it was reported is it would look like at buildings and you would say, well, you're depreciating an HVAC system at 50 years, between 50 and 60 years, when really it should be at the 15 to 20 years, in which that's what we were actually doing. So this more reflects the actual way that we were depreciating items.
Okay. Right.
One last one.
One last one, then we're gonna go to 10.2.3.
So I guess the last question on this is, with this being a policy change, is this something that's came to council or something that staff did internally? Because if a policy changes, I don't remember a report like this coming to council to say that we were going to start doing our audits differently. So just for a policy change where we're changing how we're reporting our financial statements, did this come to council or was this just an internal staff?
So through the chair to Councillor Wilsey, it's not a policy change. The policy has always been reflective of the numbers at the top of page 3. And what was really happening is the statements we're disclosing, in essence, what's at the top of 3. So there's no policy change. It's, as I said, it's a clerical thing describing how we are actually depreciating these items. The policy is the same.
Councillor Wilsey, 10.2.3, the tax policy analysis.
Yeah, and on this one, I just more wanted to make sure that the residents and anyone who's watching can see what's happening on these and the changes that are happening. Is that this is the first of multiple years of when the county is going to be changing the tax ratio for multi-residential and high-use buildings to move that tax burden over to less dense housing and more single-family homes and smaller residential. There's also a change for vacant commercial to make it less attractive to have vacant commercial and employment land, so hopefully those get developed. I think that's a good thing. But between those two things, as the ratio changes, it's done by the county. It's really outside of our control, but it does mean that we will be taxing and don't know how many years it's gonna go through until they're equal, but it said the goal of the tax rates are to have them both at the equal tax rate. And this year works out to about $100,000 difference over 45,000 properties, which generally in the municipality means that each household or single-family home will pay about $100 more in tax, so that we can give a break to multifamily or multi-residential units, because we're approximately 9,000 units to the $100,000 discount.
Okay, other than item 10.1.3, which there is a motion to receive all the other consent agenda items. Sorry, Mike.
Can I speak to 10.3.6?
Yeah, I wonder what you're going to.
CDAC.
Sure, go ahead.
I was trying to give you a heads up on that. So inside of here, there are two motions, recommendations coming to council. I'm just wondering, how are we addressing those? I'm referencing, both of them are on page 3 of the report. The first one at the top of the page, CDAC recommends to council contribution of $15,000 from the PTP fund. And then the next one on item 7, the banner policy. And again, CDAC recommends up to council. So how are we dealing with that? Is staff intending to bring that back to us at a later meeting, or are we dealing with it right now?
Through the chair to deputy mayor, there were reports brought to council prior to the minutes coming to council. So council's already seen the reports on the pavilion for the splash pad, and they've also seen the report on the banner policy as well.
So we passed those motions already then. Thank you.
Thank you. So then a motion to accept the items, the consent agenda items. Councillor Kennis, second by Councillor Hippel. All in favor? Opposed, of any, motion carries. Notice of the motion, Councillor Derbyshire, your first one.
Thank you. My first motion is to direct staff to proceed with the Lamont Drain Engineering Works as outlined in the May 19th, 2026 staff report. I'll just give a little background. It was in the consent agenda. I didn't pick it out at the time. Only because I had asked for a staff report, Deputy Mayor had asked for the staff report. I thought it would come back in a report, but because there was no guidance, it was just simply a report. That's how it ended up in the consent, and it completely slipped my mind to pull it out. So I brought it back here as a motion now today.
You have a seconder. Deputy Mayor, are there any questions or comments on this item? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, of any, motion carries. Your second one, Councillor Derbyshire.
So this one's a bit different, and maybe I can get your help on this at some point, being that it was asked by you for it to come here. So I had asked some questions to the CAO through email, which I believe everyone was included on, about the procurement policies going forward and how the scope of the projects and things end up. And it was in reference to the question where I asked anything that when we approve the budget, it becomes operational. So I went to the procurement policy, and it does say that. It does say that when we approve stuff in the budget, it does become operational. Unless it's over $100,000, that it comes back to council for council's approval, or it is $25,000 over budget. So that was, I got those questions back, those answers back, where this wasn't under another thing and it wasn't this. So I did ask 4 more questions. These are the questions that I asked here in the report. I asked whether council approved the final scope of this project prior to work commencing, whether council approved the use of municipal staff acting as the general contractor for the project, whether council approved the final building layout, operation plans, and relocation strategy associated with the project, and where there is a policy or bylaw that distinguishes between council's role in approving the capital project and administrative role in implementing the project. So as part of the answer back in some of this was that they were essentially, I'm going to paraphrase it and say piecemealing it back together, but it really was one kind of project at a time, where where I do believe Councillor Wilsey did come back with 5.1 that says we can't piecemeal a project together. It has to be done, if we've allotted 500,000 for the project, we can't just individually pluck out what we're going to do. Now, I didn't think this had to come here. This isn't where I wanted to put the motion. The mayor then stepped in and said, Councillor Derbyshire, you need to make this a motion at council. So that's why this is here. Otherwise, it wouldn't be there. It would have been an email between correspondence not brought in council. So I guess my question is, I'm asking for this conversation to continue with these 4 questions being answered. That would be my motion.
I can answer the first part of your question because the timing's good, and I can't remember which municipality it was, but I just read somewhere, and I can't remember if it was on social media or Municipal World, where there was an integrity commissioner report about email trails amongst council. So I've been pretty consistent to keep council out of trouble, all of us, with email trails. That was the only reason for that, Councillor Derbyshire, has been pretty consistent, and there has been rulings about email trails where there's quorum. So that's the reason for that.
Thank you. And really, I guess you could have said, you know, you can keep this between the CAO and you, or the bunch of us. You know, I don't believe this is something that needed to be put here. I don't believe that I was asking for council to make any decisions. I was asking clarifying questions as to statements that were made. Nowhere here do I ask us to make a decision on any part of the project or change anything. These were simply clarification questions.
Yeah, and not to debate the matter, but it is rather consistent in the Ombudsman and Integrity Commissioner rule. It doesn't have to just be decisions. It can just be a conversation amongst councillors to move an agenda forward. And I think that's actually the wording that it says in the Ombudsman is, if it materially moves the, I get the wrong verbiage.
Is that like getting your vote before you put the motion forward?
No, I just telling you what it was.
Well, you said that one.
Council asked me for.
I didn't. I simply put it out here. If you don't want to.
That's okay, and I can clarify for everybody who wants to hear it. It's keeping all the council out of Integrity Commissioner and Ombudsman trouble. So there you go. There's a
So on that, I will just ask this: should I not have sent these questions out to everybody then? Should it just went between myself and the CAO?
Probably where you get into trouble is when you include all the council. I've been very consistent on that in the 3.5 years I've been sitting here. Anytime you involve all the council, you're materially moving forward the business.
So then how does everyone get the answers?
Listen, I don't know about that. I'm just asking about the best place to do this is here. So let you have something there. Did you have, the motion was seconded by the deputy mayor, so open it up. You seconded that, correct, Mike?
I don't think he called. I seconded his first motion, but I don't think he called for a second on this one.
No second. See if someone to second your motion, and we can get Councillor Wilsey. Open it up for discussion. I'm just going to comment on one, and that's, I'm going to put 1 and 4 together, whether or not there's a policy or bylaw that distinguishes between council's role. I don't think there currently is one, and if in the future, a future term of council feels they need to put a policy or procedure in place, I may welcome that, but I don't think there is one now. The other one that causes me concern is whether council approve the use of municipal staff acting as a general contractor. The wording general contract, when you have staff in place with job description, is to do those kind of things. I don't think he's acting as a general contractor.
That's not my word. That was the word back from the CEO that they were acting as the general contractor.
Okay, but I'm just clarifying what it says to the public.
I'm just telling you.
And then whether council approved the final building layout, operational plan, and relocation strategy associated with the project. You know what, I think we would all agree that we got a little ahead of ourselves and over our skis, but it got corrected a week later after the special, it was an 8-1 vote at council where it was approved, the building layout, operational plan, and the relocation strategy. So those are just my comments. I'll put it out there for further discussion. Councillor Wilsey.
I don't remember the final location being done. I remember we talked about the first part being done, but we hadn't talked about what the second and third rooms were gonna be. There was no plan on what the rest of the building was gonna be yet. I don't believe that's been decided or came back to us.
So you
So
don't
I'm just wondering what, like, because it says final building layout. I don't
So actually,
believe.
Mr. Sprague, I'm going to concede your argument. You do use
Like,
the
we
word
haven't seen a final one yet.
Phase one, right? So you are correct on that. I'll actually concede that point. Got me on the adjective. Any other, Councillor Pelton?
Yeah, so in terms of is this project proceeding the way that I thought it was portrayed to council? I think yes, it is. We had talked about the office portion, and there were concepts put out about the other rooms, but we made no decisions on those rooms. And the motion even reflects that those portions are probably going to need the general contractors and the request for proposals, because we don't know what those are going to be yet, but we do know what the office spot is going to be, and that's the only place where there's been work. And as far as our own staff doing the work, well, you know, we didn't ask these questions when Len did the stairs down there by the entrance at the back. It was handled by staff to do that. He's on salary, whether he's working there or at the town hall or at other buildings. I don't see the need to prove that when he's working on a plan that we had agreed on that portion of the building.
Yeah, I'm going to go, Councillor Woods has his hand up first, Councillor Ricochet.
So on that, what I remember from those other ones when that particular staff member, I know we're not supposed to mention names, when he's doing working on other projects, I've always seen the director come forward and saying, we want to do this internally, and we're going to do this renovation. It happened with the bathroom downstairs. The director had told us that we can do our bathroom renovation on the main floor using our own staff. It'll be significantly less, and I want approval to do that. And he came back and he asked for all the major projects that our own people have worked on. When they're a budget item, he's came back and asked for approval on every project except for this one, which is, I think, the point that we're getting to today is just we didn't follow the same process. We're not consistent every time we do a project.
I'm just going to ask Director Littlemore, can you clarify that? I don't know if that's true or not. So that's why I'm asking that clarity.
Through the chair to council. Staff have, as far as I've been here, never come back and gotten approval from council to use internal staff to do the work. It has been part of a conversation no different than it was part of this conversation when we had the strategic priorities meeting, when I mentioned that we have Len who will be doing a majority of the work in the customer service, who does a lot of work for us in the municipality, such as the bathrooms downstairs or the bathrooms at the Station 2 or the stairs in the back, or a host of projects that Len has done in the past. So it was mentioned at the strategic priorities meetings that we'd be using internal forces, no different than we have on other projects.
Thank you. Yep, Councillor Bouchard.
And I will say, yes, it was mentioned there. At the strategic priorities meeting, this project had already started. With no costing, with no telling us the general manager was going to be there. My point to the whole thing was, our procurement policy, these are just the extra questions where the conversation stops. Our procurement policy says anything over 100,000 comes back to council. We put 500,000 aside for outside work, 500,000 aside for inside work. At this date right now, do we know what this project is actually costing us? What is the cost of this project?
Director Dakin or Director Littlemore, can you clarify? And I really don't know. Can you? That's why I'm asking.
But why don't we? If we already approved it, why don't we know?
I'm asking for clarity on the procurement policy, whether or not it's a tender or. I'm just asking for clarity on the procurement policy.
So how we've done work in the past, and I'll use the washrooms downstairs as an example. It was I believe it was memory serves me correct, about $165,000 or $135,000 budgeted project. Staff, Len will do the work that Len has the capacity of doing. Any work outside of Len's capacity, we would then go and get the required quotes or documentation to pick the lowest bidder. All right, so Len doesn't have expertise in running piping in the ground and doing the necessary plumbing, because that needs to be inspected by a plumbing inspector, okay? No different than what we've done in 137 Frank Street. Len has the capacity to do a lot of the work. So demolition, as an example, or installing a wall and putting drywall up, taping and mudding, installing carpet or luxury vinyl tile. He has those skill sets. When it comes to running security, the IT equipment and so on, that came to council for approval because we sole sourced it. We've gone out and we've purchased furniture for the facility, which falls within the procurement policy, where we had to go and get 3 quotes. Staff got 3 quotes. So we've been following the procurement policy as it's laid out, okay? But what Len is more the coordinator of the work, and is following the procurement policy as he's purchasing those pieces, okay?
Director, did you have something, you turn it over to me, or was I just, okay, nothing? Do you have something, Director Dakin? No. Okay, sorry, Councilor Derbyshire, then we'll bring it to a vote. Oh, sorry, I see 2 hands there. Councilor Brandon.
In the discussions that we've had touching on this project, it's been my impression that council has been informed at each stage, and that a majority of council has supported the good work being done by staff to get this project done in a timely fashion. And staff is telling us that they are obeying the policy. So I have confidence in staff, and I think this is a great project, and it's being done in a manner that is keeping the costs low for us. So I'll be voting against this motion.
Councilor Cass.
I was pretty much going to say the same thing. I mean, council there have been numerous votes on this whole project, and I think most of them are in the 7-2 range, and so I think the majority of council is let's just move forward. So I'm in the same spot.
Okay, thank you. Councilor, then we're going to bring you to a vote, Councilor Derbyshire.
I'm not trying to stop your project. It's already going through. What my question?
It's not my project.
No, that's right. Go ahead, Councilor.
Just like vote with your heart.
No, okay. You know, with
But
that,
you got 100,000.
no, Councilor.
I call it point of order.
Yeah,
No, if I'm being personally attacked, I'd like you to step in, please.
Yeah, let's keep the rhetoric to 0 rather than.
But you know, it's okay to say that this project's being done right, perfect, and this and that. Tell me how much this project costs.
That's a direct question.
No, we voted it. What did we budget for? What's it for? So 500,000? That's what the budget, so there's the budget. What's the project cost?
The budget is $1 million.
So what's the project cost?
It's not done. The project's not done.
We got to approve it. You can't, if it's $1 million, then we need to approve $1 million. Like you have, no, if it's budgeted and it's over $100,000, then it has to come back to council. That's what our procurement policy says. So you can all say, oh, we're doing it all right, we're doing everything fine. What's your policy say?
I've given you the floor, that he's explained the procurement policy. Do you have anything further to add, Director Lilborn or Director Dakin? No, okay, so it's chats there. Okay, all in favor of the motion? Yeah, sure, go ahead, Drake, I'll give you the last one.
And this is to the director. There's a portion of the procurement policy that says we cannot put multiple smaller projects together as part of the same project to get under certain limits in the procurement policy. So it specifically calls out buying, say, an IT system and furniture separate and contracting separate to get underneath that $100,000 mark. It specifically calls out things like that. If we're following all the procurement policy, how does the IT system at 80,000 plus our own work, plus our A-Link cost, plus our furniture come in under a total of the $100,000 mark when it's a $500,000 budget?
Do you have a comment on that, Director Lilborn? I can't imagine. Sorry, CAO's got a comment.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the councillor. In all my experience in working in municipalities, we've done a number of these projects. You approved a lump sum of money for us to work with. We're resourcing it inside because we feel we have the resources to do it. We can do it at a reasonable cost, and that's what we're doing. So we can then go out and buy the pieces of the project that we need to purchase, and that's practice across the province. I've been in a number of municipalities, never been challenged, never by any council, because we're doing what, in the end of the day, is going to be the best deal for the taxpayer, and that's what's happening here. And I think if we,
Counselor, sir, no
Hey,
comment.
5.1 says can't do it, but hey, we're willing to break the law as long as it's in the best interest of
Okay,
everything.
that's it. We're gonna bring this motion to a vote. All in favor of the motion in front of you? Opposed, if any? Motion's defeated. Thank you. Before I just move on, I see members of the Legion here, and I'm gonna go out of order. Were you here out of curiosity about the letter regarding the crosswalk?
I'm just trying to get a little oomph to it.
No, that's okay. I saw that, and it's, the chair can diverge if I want. I will tell you, we asked for a staff report, a quick one, a brief one, just so we can understand fully what the cost is and if there are any considerations we should have before we can make a fully informed discussion. So it was brought up. We just need to have that staff report, and I apologize to council. I just saw Martin walk in, so thank you. Building and planning, the housing accelerator fund. This one causes me some concern, but in order to get it on the floor, I'll just read what the motion says. Council approve the following staff members to serve on the evaluation committee for the review and evaluation of RFP submissions related to the affordable housing project at 273 Francis Street, the manager of growth and development, the manager of planning for the county of Middlesex, the county of Middlesex procurement, the Director of Community and Development Services, Director of Economic Development and Community Engagement, the Director of Engineering and Public Works, the Director of IT and Financial Services, Treasurer, and the Chief Administrative Officer. Does anyone wish to bring that motion? Councilor Brandon, is there any? I'll second it to get on the floor. Any comments or discussion? Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Like, the report's good and everything. It's become, I'm aware anyways, that there's some developers in our community that have said they were never made aware of the new procurement policy and the new practices that we're now following. And historically, they were apparently called and notified about things that were in their realm that they used to do work for the municipality. They'd get a call saying, hey, by the way, we're looking for this, throw a bid in. And so that's what they were used to. And it's not just on this project. I've heard this a couple of times on recent procurements. And where I'm going with this is I would like to defer the vote on this evening and refer it back to legal to determine whether or not we are able to reopen the RFP. I'll just put a date, like for an extra 30 days or an extra 15 days, during which time we actively advertise it on more than just bids and tenders. Because people are missing it. People aren't aware that they need to go to bids and tenders looking for these things. And nobody's at fault for it. We've changed our process by using this procurement policy scenario at the county, which is, I think, the best way to do it. But we're not advertising, and we never advertised to the community that that's what we did. And now the people that used to be notified otherwise are like, why did that go through? Why didn't somebody call me? Why didn't you tell me about this? And my response is clear, like, I think by telling you this, I'm interfering in the process, so I don't do those. So I'd like to see this deferred and find out from legal where we stand.
Can I just, then I'm going to try, because I want to jump, because I did discuss this with the deputy mayor.
Are you making a motion, Mike?
No, we have a motion on the floor.
Yeah, so a motion to refer back to staff can trump the motion on the floor. So I'll make a.
Do we have comments?
Yeah, we still can. Can we make comment or refer? Okay, because I need to make my comments, Deputy Mayor, about my conflict on this. Bring your motion to refer after we.
If you have a conflict, you should have declared it.
Yeah. No, I don't have a conflict. No, I don't. I just, it was this in this event.
As long as it gives me the floor back.
You'll get the floor back. No, because I have the same concern, and it's more with this particular project and the bids that we get. So I'm vice chair of London Middlesex Housing. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that they've done a reimagine project that is looking at Strathroy. I didn't feel it correct or any possible conflict to even notify them that this was out there, because there are other social agencies that I've talked to, I don't, in Wells of the world, United Way, those people of the world, for me to contact an agency that I'm a member of and to say, you should look on our bids and tenders. Because then it could be said from the the other social agencies, why didn't you tell us, right? And that's I share the deputy mayor's concern. I just want to get that out there, Deputy Mayor, that the advertising process, this is such an important project. Get off my soapbox, if anybody's aware of the Soho project in London, the old Victoria Hospital project, where developers came together. I just want to get that out there, Deputy Mayor. So I'm not going to forget your motion. Councillor Hippel.
So I have a quick comment on that, and I'm not disagreeing or agreeing, but what I am going to state is that this has been going on for quite some time. So I'm okay with the deferral, referral, what have you, but what's going to happen to all the people for all the projects that this has been going on for? This bids and tenders process has been going on since before Mayor Grantham was here, and lots of businesses were not told about projects being on bids and tenders, and they didn't know, and I would say local businesses at the last second realized they didn't have time to put in, and we went with businesses that were out of, not even just out of town, I mean, one was out of province. So, I mean, I think now we're picking and choosing because of one or two people that have complained, and while I understand that, people have been complaining for a while, so I guess I'm like, why didn't we talk about this before? Why are we doing this now? I feel bad for all the other businesses, local businesses that did not know. So I guess this is now it's just frustration. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just want to make a point of order. We have a motion on the floor, and I feel like we're not dealing with that motion. I think that the issue, but what I'm saying, Mike, is that I think that this is a whole separate issue we should discuss. I'm not saying that, but I think we need to, we have another discussion here we haven't even touched on, unless we're just going to make the referral and stop discussion, and I'm looking to the clerk because I feel like we're not dealing with the motion.
That's why I asked for the deputy mayor to hold on to his referral so I could speak to that motion. My comment regarding this was speaking to this motion.
So if I could speak to this motion in front of us.
Yes.
I think that this looks like a good committee. I don't have a problem with that. My only question would be, as a counselor, I would like to see all the applications that come with your scoring, so that, I mean, you are the developers and the people who've experienced doing this, so I'm obviously interested in your scoring and how you feel the RFPs are, but I wouldn't want to just be given, oh, here's the winning RFP. I'd want to see all the submissions so that we could also have a read and a look at them. Is that the intention of the process, or what is the intention of the process? I didn't see that part in here.
Yeah, through the chair. So the intention is to bring back a report. The evaluation committee would evaluate it against the criteria that council passed. We'll provide that breakdown of the scoring of each section from all the members, an average from all the members, and then we'll provide a summary of each proposal. So like unit types, affordability, rent prices, bill form. We'll include a site plan of each proposal, stuff like that. We are reviewing with county procurement to see if we can, how much of that information we can share with council, but the plan is to share as much as possible.
Councillor Pugman, then Councillor Wilsey, then I do need to give the floor back to the Deputy Mayor, as I said I would.
I'll save my comments on the procurement part, just because I know the Deputy Mayor is going to make a referral. But in terms of the committee, at first I thought, no councillors. But then I thought, I'm not sure I really want to be on the deciding side, because you're not going to be comparing apples to apples. It's not going to be clear. You have some very different concepts. So in a way, I'm happy that it's not us coming up with the recommendation, but I agree that I would like to see all the scoring, just so we can see how the different ones played out against each other.
Okay, so Councillor Wilsey, then I'm going back to the Deputy Mayor.
So in the Strategic Priorities Committee, we talked a bit about how council wanted to decide on what we were looking at. It might not just be based on the number of units and the financial cost. There were a lot of other factors of where we saw the future of Strathroy and the use of that property going. That we talked a lot about that at length when we talked about the committee and who was going to do it for the proposals. So I appreciate that the staff needs to be on there. These are the people and the staff members who know what we're supposed to be doing and know which ones are going to meet it. But from what I recall of the committee we had, council wanted to have some input because we wanted to make sure that we had the right development for that property that was going to fit the neighborhood and the town. So I think council needs to have as much information as possible, and probably more than just a scoring sheet on the proposals.
Okay. I yield the floor back to you, Deputy Mayor.
So, listening to everybody, sorry. So the motion to refer it doesn't shut down this conversation. I just want to have this conversation later. And why I'm bringing it forward now is, I guess, the strength of this project is so critical to the community. We've had a special meeting about it. We've talked about it at length. And I'm surprised when I kind of re-looked at it that people are not aware that we changed our procurement process. We're using the county, and they're simply not getting the calls that they used to get, it would seem. So where does that legally put us if we tried to leave it open for longer? I have no idea. That's the question I would like to have answered. If legal gives us one side or the other and we decide that it does open or it doesn't open, then you're just right back to this conversation. That's where it is. I think you're talking like a 2-week delay myself. It should be a fairly simple project.
Okay.
So my motion is to refer it back to legal for an opinion about opening it up for a longer period of time.
Director Dakin wishes to speak. His finger's on the button there.
So through the chair to council, prior to, I think it's 2015, everything was done by paper. After 2015, we went to 2 organizations, one which was construction-based and another one which was more service-based, and did online bidding. So since 2015, everything's been posted online and it's using our website. So if you go to our website, you can see all the projects that are posted for bids and tenders. The only change that really took place to council with moving to the county now posts it. The process is exactly the same. It's still through bids and tenders. We, as staff, never called anyone saying, oh, by the way, we got a bid. We got this tender going up. The process that has changed with using the county is now we have professionals that do procurement and understand procurement law way better than our staff does and do it every day, as opposed to my procurement officer who does, when we're in construction season, maybe does 15 bids and then that's it for another year. So the only change that's taken place in this whole process since 2015 is adding the county as sort of the the posting agent, we'll call it, reviewing to make sure that we're compliant to current law, and then providing those things back. So in this case, this was posted by the county sent the documents back to us. This team, if passed here tonight, will review what the county, what was submitted. So the only difference in the process since 2015 and now that the county's involved is the county is the poster, posts it, provides recommendations on how to make these things better, make sure it's legal. So I think it reduces the risk as a municipality from the procurement standpoint that you've got people that are professionals now sort of running the process. We still have, the municipality still has a say. At no time prior did I or any of our staff call out to people and say, oh, by the way, we're about to post this. Everything gets posted on our website, because as soon as you go to our website for procurement, it directs you right to the bids and tenders website.
Can I just ask the question, need clarity on something?
Yeah.
Just because this is an important project. We're using the word procurement, but this isn't in fact a procurement. This is a request for proposal. To me,
Site procurement.
is it still procurement, even though we've asked for a request for proposal, but is it like still under the procurement policy? I need clarity on that.
So there's request for tender, request for proposal, request for quotation. They're all forms of procurement.
Okay.
And so it's all the same, it's a procurement process, but it's just a different method of which.
Okay.
All right,
Yep.
so
Go ahead.
clarification point then. So they used to be, if I understand you, they used to be put up by us and put on our municipal website, just on bids and tenders, never on the website.
The website links you to bids and tenders. So you come to our website, you'll see everything we've got posted.
So is this currently was this posted on the municipal website?
Yes.
It was?
Yep.
I did not know that, and I did not see that.
Every procurement since 2015 is posted on our website.
So it was on the municipal website.
And even
I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay. All right, okay. All right, we have a seconded motion then. Any other, sorry, Counselor.
Thank you. So in going through the process here, council picked a criteria that we set out for the request for proposal. We're now going to formulate a whole other group to evaluate what council's criteria was. Why wouldn't you just bring the proposals back to council and let us pick through? If they don't meet, I mean, if the county procurement guy wants to go through and it doesn't meet the procurement standards, and they should not be, they don't satisfy the criteria, then they're out. Then just send us back the ones that do. If we chose the criteria and made it, I don't know why we wouldn't go back and have our own, even if it's a closed meeting to discuss land leaving us, why it wouldn't be for us. Otherwise, we're going to receive a recommendation that we're either going to have to turn down and make better. Whereas if we just got them put back to us as, here's your request for proposals, they've been vetted and these ones meet the standard. Now, if you guys want to discuss and go through, we'll have that discussion. Otherwise, we're going to have a group go through it all together, and then we're going to start picking out the ones we like, kind of like the official plan, and start pulling things back in. Like, it just seems like like this step here seems like an awful lot of an extra step involved in a process that, you know, we've made a request, council set the criteria. If they meet the criteria, send them back to us and let us pick.
Is there a comment on that, one way or the other, Director Dakin or Director Littlemore?
I was just through the chair to council. I believe that's what the intention truly is to do. Is the evaluation committee is going to score the bids based on council's recommendation. Staff will bring back in a council report to council the scoring of those bids, and as Manager DeRitter indicated, that in that council report will be a layout, the built form, the site layout, the type of units that you would have, the affordability component, and so on. And if council doesn't agree with staff's recommendation based on the council report, then council can amend the recommendation. So in essence, we are doing that. We're just not having council as the evaluation committee.
All right, let's bring it, okay, Council Kenneth, then we're gonna bring it to a vote. Councilor, you-
Wanted to comment, I think as a council, we don't have the knowledge to go through all of this stuff and make a intelligent first look at the proposals, and that's why I think we put the experts on these committees to do that for us.
Okay. All right, you have a seconded motion, all in favor of the motion. Opposed, if any, motion carries.
Except, of course, you.
Mr. White, why did we set the criteria then, Frank? If we're not experts, council set the criteria.
That's enough.
Experts based
Well,
on.
we shouldn't have set the criteria.
Councilor Derbyshire, thank you. Councilor Kenneth, let's
We're not, well, okay, man,
Guys,
we're not
guys.
gonna agree on it, okay, mock me all you want, man, but you're sure showing yourself to the community, all
Council?
right?
Okay, well,
I hope everybody pays attention.
Council, let's take a recess. Recess till 7:11. 5-minute recess, thank you. Okay, we are back. We'll now move on to 13.2, Community Services. The Gemini Sportsplex Makeup Air Replacement Unit. There are 3 motions. I'll read them all. Council approve the report and award the Gemini Makeup Air Unit replacement through Canoe LAS to Clogger for the value of $229,150 plus HST. And further, the council approved the use of $104,150 from the plate and frame surplus to fully fund the makeup air unit replacement, and council acknowledged the remaining balance of $47,509.75 will remain in the plate and frame surplus following the allocations. Someone bring those. Councillor Kennis, seconded by Councillor Pam. Are there any questions or discussion? See none, all in favor of the motion. Opposed, if any, motion carries. Campbellville Park Drainage. Motion to council approve the report and award Van Rosel Contracting Limited the Campbellville Park Drainage tender for the value of $128,280 plus HST, including the removal of 47 stumps, and further, the council approved 10% contingency for the value of $12,358. Someone bring the motions. Councillor Hippel, second by Councillor Wilsey. Any discussion? Councillor Wilsey.
What are next steps after this? This feels like once we do the drainage, we only had a couple $100,000 for this project, and we spent engineering, and now we're doing the drainage. This is going to take most of the budget. What are our next steps once we get a drained parcel? Is there more money, or do we have a final plan or cost for this, or are we just doing the drainage and see what happens next?
Through the chair to Councillor Wilsey. If memory serves me correct, there was $400,000 originally in a capital budget that was reduced down to $200,000 to do site prep work. And then once that site prep work was done, staff would come back and ask for an additional $200,000. I believe that was 2 or 3 years ago now that original request came in. So we'll have to come back to council for additional funds for any additional work on that parcel.
Okay, so just as a follow-up, so with that, you will need to come back for more funds, but we don't know how much yet.
Councillor Palkman and Councillor Derbyshire.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to make sure I understand where the water is going. So we're putting the drain in, it's going to go across the road. And then where does it go after that? Do we know?
For the chair to Councillor Pelkman, yes, so it crosses the road and then it goes into a municipal storm drain. And then I'm assuming down to the Thames eventually, but yes, it's to a municipal drain outlet.
And I know that that's pretty low wetland. Will that help other issues around there with some of the neighboring properties or not?
Yes, through the chair to Councillor Pelkman. This drain will actually provide an outlet or an inlet, I should say. If the neighbors were to petition for a drain, they could connect to this and it would assist in some of their top level water.
Councillor Derbyshire.
I just had a question through you to somebody who could be budget. It says that the trees are going to be removed, 30 of them, by Summit Tree Service through the current capital budget funds allocation. And then down at the bottom it says the tree removal will be funded through the $30,000 that remaining in the project. Just wanted clarification what I would assume it would come out of the remaining 30,000, but it does say in the written thing that it'll be funded through the current capital budget fund allocation. That's just in the written submission here. So I just wanted to make sure we know where it's coming from. It does say at the bottom it's coming out of the remaining of this project, but just so we're clear.
Yeah, through the chair to Councillor Derbyshire, that's correct. It'll be removed from the it'll be taken from the remaining 30,000 out of this project.
Okay. Thank you.
Councillor Wilson.
The outlet for this drain. Speaking with a lot of residents in Campbellville, there is some drains that are there but aren't working well. Or at least I'm told they're not working well. Is this one that's flowing well, or is this one that's been the residents have been complaining about and saying it doesn't have a good flow or doesn't do the job it was supposed to do? Just want to make sure that wherever we're going isn't going to cause another issue on the other side of the road.
Through the chair to Councillor Wiltsey, I actually can't honestly speak to that. We can bring a report back to council if you choose to have that drain identified as if it's been problematic or if it's a well-flowing drain.
Okay, seeing no other questions, you have a second motion. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion carries.
Could I make
Sure, go
just
ahead,
to follow up
Councillor,
on
yep.
that question? And this doesn't have to be a lot of work into it. I just want to make sure that the drain that we're flowing into is actually a functional drain that's not the one that residents have been complaining about. 'Cause I met with them, a few of the residents from Campbellville, and they said that the drains they talked about when I got elected, we're still giving them the same problems. So I just want to make sure we're not feeding into that drain.
Is it acceptable if just Darren sends an email report to rather than bring a full? We probably all want to hear the answer. You okay with just that, Councillor? If he just sends a quick email that he's looked into it, this is a problem or not a problem? You okay with that, Councillor?
Yeah, I guess I've done that a number of times this term, and a lot of times if the answer doesn't come back, I'm told I never made a motion at council and it never got passed.
Okay.
So,
Well, bring the motion.
yeah, I think I want to make the motion just to make sure the answer comes back.
Okay, I'll second it. So if it's in an email or whatever, just get the report or answer for us. All in favor of that motion? Opposed by any, carries. Gemini Sportsplex dehumidifier replacement. Motion of council to approve the report, award the replacement of the two dehumidifiers at Gemini through Canoe LAS to Simcoe Refrigeration for $368,000 plus HST. And further, the council approved the use of the following surpluses associated with the capital projects at the Gemini Sportsplex to fully fund the dehumidifier replacements. The plate and frame, $47,509.75. Mezzanine AC, $13,327.62. Refrigeration controls, $20,284.25. And the water heater, $30,640. And the council acknowledged a net surplus value of $32,761.62 remaining following the funding of the dehumidifier replacements. Someone to bring that motion. Councillor Pelkman, second by the Deputy Mayor. Any questions or comments? Councillor Derbyshire.
Just one, these projects, the mezzanine, the refrigeration, and the water heater, they've already been done or purchased? These are not just the guesstimation, or they've been submitted and this is a surplus, correct?
Yes, through the chair to Councillor Derbyshire, the plate and frame will be completed. It's been a signed back contract, so it's going to be completed later in the year when it's cooler out. We can actually handle that load and that work. Mezzanine AC has been replaced. Refrigeration controls will be completed later in this fall, and hot water heater is a quoted project, so it's a firm quote.
Awesome, thank you.
Seeing no further questions, comments, all in favor? Opposed, if any, that carries. Strathroy Rockets advertising agreement. Motion to council approve the advertising agreement for a 3-year term. And the council forward bylaw number 5926 to the consideration bylaws section. Councillor Derbyshire, second by Councillor Kennis, all in favor? Carries. I apologize, I didn't open it up for discussions. Got ahead of myself. The municipal alcohol policy, motion to council approve the revised MAP, further that'd be forward to the bylaws section of the agenda. So I'm gonna bring the motion. Councillor Brennan, second by the Deputy Mayor. Any discussion? Councillor Wilsey.
Just, I wasn't sure if a staff was going to report on it or not, but just one of the big things I saw in this that's probably of interest is about the bring your own policy. But bringing your own alcohol to different licensed events, and basically what this policy is doing is saying that we want to prohibit that in Strathroy-Caradoc. So I just want to make sure that's clear. rather than just accepting a new policy. And I don't know if any staff members want to speak to any of that, but that's the gist I get, which is the change from this report.
Through the chair, oh, sorry, your worship, through the chair to Councillor Wilsey. Absolutely correct. The biggest, there's some housekeeping items in there with regards to titles and positions and so on. But the biggest change is the BYO framework, which is bring your own alcohol to those events. And the purpose of that is to prohibit that from occurring.
Seeing no further questions, all in favor? Opposed, if any, that carries. Medal of Distinction update. Council approved the revised Medal of Distinction report. Someone to bring a motion? Councillor Palmer, second by Councillor Paul. Any questions? Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Good report. I don't have a problem with it other than page 5 of the actual nomination package. Page 5 at the top, it says selection. So it starts off saying appointed for 1-year term. That's great. The CAO will be comprised of members or appointed for 1 year by the CAO. We have a striking committee that I think should be involved here, not the CAO. And so I would recommend that they're appointed for a 1-year term by the striking committee to be chosen from classes as set out by council. That gets council involved. The idea, I'll continue on and maybe it'll make more sense in a moment. I would remove, out of those classes of people there, I would remove I'd leave the mayor, 1 council member, the CAO, and everything else be removed, and then just have council select like 4 other classes of candidates, and then the striking committee would just do their job like they normally do. My reason for that is council could say, well, let's use somebody from the Lions Club, somebody from the Rotary Club, and they may say that this year we're going to use people from that volunteer base. And the next year they may want to go to academics. So maybe somebody from the high school, a principal from, you get where I'm going, right? So that puts council involved in it. Just simple, quick, 15-minute conversation at council. You set the criteria, the striking committee receives the reports and appoints the people, and it's quick and easy. And then that way every year it changes it up, gives you a committee of 7, let them go do their work, easy peasy. Leaving it the way it is, one of them is St. Clair Regional Conservation Authority, which isn't going to exist in another number of months. So it just opens it up that each year we can pick classes of people, or classes, we can pick classifications from different segments of the community, and I really get more involved is my thought. So I would recommend that section get changed so that the striking committee appoints after council selects the classification of candidates.
Okay. I see Councillor Palkman's hand up. I don't.
So, to me, that politicizes the process, and that's not what this is about. And the staff members, and maybe minus the Conservation Authority, some of them potentially have more longevity than the councillors who may sit on the, if we were to appoint councillors. And I completely disagree with your concept about saying we want to focus on this year, because then somebody could get nominated that's outside of that focus and be completely eliminated because they think it should be all service club members that are not past the nomination that year. So the whole point is that it's not supposed to be a political process. It's supposed to be about the long-term impact that the person has made, and that should be an apolitical decision.
Any other comments? Seeing none, then you have seconded motion. All in favor of the motion? Opposed, if any? Motion carries. Deputy Mayor, County Council report.
Yeah, tonight I want to talk to you about Middlesex London Paramedic Service. I haven't brought much to you lately about this, and it's a huge part of County Council and the budget, and therefore our budget. So some exciting news from a meeting that we had on June 23rd. Currently, the style of ambulance that is used in Ontario is regulated by the ministry, and there's only one style of ambulance, and you've all seen it on the road. Very, very expensive, very heavy. MLPS has been involved in getting another type of ambulance approved. They call it a Mobility Type 2. The picture was that of a Ram large van, like a standard van, but a full size like we used to see on the road. Happened to say Ram on the front of it, but I'm sure the other manufacturers produce them. They actually have more space inside for the patients and the paramedics, better seating. They're lower to the ground. They're about $90,000 in saving over the current ambulance that's driving around the road. A little bit narrower vehicle, easier to maneuver, particularly through London. So we have ordered one of those on a test package, and we'll see how that works for everybody. Call volumes are up significantly, 81% increase in call volumes over the last 10 years. But our unit hour utilization has been increasing also. So what that means is the ambulances on the road are on the road more and doing more patient calls, which helps keeps the cost down, where a lot of the ambulances used to get caught at the hospitals much longer, and they're kind of pulled off the road during that period of time. So there's lots of things happening there that are also saving money. Even logistics, how they repurpose or restock an ambulance after a call. Used to take 30 to 50 minutes to do that process, and the ambulance went to London to do it. Now we have logistics people on the road, and it's all swapped out in 15 minutes, and that ambulance is ready to go again. So a huge savings there. And, you know, two other things here. They're participating in, they call it Mosaic, which is a multivariant occupational specific anthropometric database. Essentially what they're doing is taking the paramedics that want to be involved, and so far everybody wants to be involved. They put all types of sensors on your body and put you in your outfit, and then they watch you in the garage areas where they're doing it, and they tell you to go do your job. And they're seeing what the stresses are on the paramedics. And the idea is developing better equipment, better ways of doing things to save people from and hurting their backs, hurting their necks, because that's a big problem with our paramedics. It's a hugely physical job that they do all the time. So we're hoping that really helps the personnel. We're also hoping that there's a financial benefit to it. I say we, I sit on the board of MLPS, that's why I use that terminology. We did put a proposed draft budget that'll be going up to County Council shortly, and it's a very modest increase. So lots of things going on where you have 81% increase in calls, and yet the cost of running the service is coming down. So lots of things happening there. Very excited about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Announcements and inquiries. Councillor Hippel, we'll go around this way.
Thank you. So, wow, what a week we've had in our municipality, and it's been just everywhere. Lots of thanks are going to be going around to so many groups of people for doing our Canada Day fireworks in Strathroy, Our Delco Bridge candidate was such massive success, and so many people were involved in making that a hugely wonderful event. We had Rock and Wheel, which, I mean, all the funds go to who's such a necessary cause. And we had Pride in the Park. Pride in the Park. I mean, it's such an inclusive, incredible day, just showing how much pride we all have in one another. But with all of these amazing, great things, I got this email. I'm not alone. The three of us got this email, and it's interesting because I had two other, not emails, but two other conversations with people in the last 2 months about racial slurs walking down the street in our municipality. And while, I mean, what as a politician can I do about that? Well, I mean, I was disgusted and frustrated and saddened, but at the same time a little shocked, because I thought, oh, we are this wonderful, amazing, inclusive community, and wow, that happens still. I was surprised. But I guess all I wanted to say is I believe in our community, I believe in our municipality. I think all of the villages within this municipality are incredible. Whether you've been here for 50, 60, 70 years, or you've been here for 5 days. I think we're pretty amazing people, and we are creating even a better municipality for, well, in my case, it would be grandkids. But we can always do better. So I guess at the end of my little speech, let's do better. I mean, we've done amazing things in the last 7 to 10 days, put a lot of effort, a lot of work in such amazing, active, wonderful things that have gone on, but yet there are these things that still happen. So while we're being this inclusive, great community, let's keep doing better, because that's the way we need to be as humans. That's it for me.
Thank you. Councillor Canis.
Yes, kind of following up on what you were saying, but I was going to mention the World Cup and how much the community is involved watching soccer and all the different flags that are flying on vehicles as they move around the community. I think the vast majority were cheering for our Canadian team, who we can be very proud of, but there's so many people with so many different heritages within our community flying the flag of where they came from. So it really has demonstrated the diversity of our community and how much more diverse we're becoming. And my congratulations to the eventual winner, whoever that might be. We all appreciate the soccer that's been going on the last couple of weeks.
Councillor Wilsey.
I'm going to keep it short. I just wanted to make sure that, and we've done a good job of it so far, just thanking all the service clubs for all the work that they've done, all the events that we put on with all the volunteers. They couldn't be done without the volunteers. That's all the Canada Day, all the concerts, all the park events in Mount Bridges and Melbourne and Strathroy and everywhere else in the municipality. They're volunteers that make it happen.
Councillor Brandon.
Thank you. Had a little bit of an emotional moment the other day. I was taking my grandkids to the pool, and that's a lovely thing. But then I looked around, and the parking lot was absolutely full. The miniature railway was running. There were families there from long distance away. They have a new steam engine, which is amazing. There were kids playing in the playground that we had put in there one time when we cooperated with, I think it was a TV Ontario or some kind of program. The kids were playing there. There were kids playing basketball in the Vaughan McPherson basketball area. You could hear the pickpocket of things going on over at the tennis courts, which had been newly renovated. There was a lacrosse tournament going on at the arena. There were all kinds of teams there. There were people sitting out in the field with little cabanas, having their hot dogs and things, as they just sort of, waited between games. There were kids in the multi-wheel park playing away. And I thought, back in 2000, 2003, that was basically an empty field with some tennis courts. And over 20 years, successive councils, picking away one project at a time, have made that area an absolute gem. It's a real hub. The number of people that were there enjoying different activities, that the community was actually really just alive. There were children laughing, playing, there were all kinds of families having a good time, doing all sorts of different things. The second one was, earlier this week, a person who's running for a political office in Sarnia was going down Highway 402, and he's got his camera going, and he's taking a look at all the industrial development that we've got going on in the north end of Strathroy, saying, gee whiz, these could have all been in Sarnia, and he was kind of belly aching about the fact they weren't in Sarnia. But what I did do was I said, thank you for noticing that for 20 years, successive councils and many, many staff over the last 20 years have incrementally built up that north end. And so change doesn't happen fast, it takes decades. But if I take a look over the last 20 years, those two things, this community has grown so much. So those is a really warm feeling. And I'm finished. I'm just thinking that, for successive councils, pick your targets, get something done, and the next council will pick up the baton and get something else done, and the community continues to grow through all of Strathroy-Caradoc. Thank you.
Councillor Felton.
Yes, thank you. I'm also going to thank the volunteers of the various events, especially given the heat. Doing a large event myself where I'm there from say 6 o'clock in the morning till about 9 o'clock at night, and have been in that kind of heat, it takes real dedication to stay out there all day long. And I know that for those organizers, they were there a long time. So kudos to them, to both Canada Day celebrations and the Pride. I attended Pride. I figured I'd just go down and I'd kind of see how they were set up and make sure that it was a good event. And I ended up spending like 2 hours down there because we saw so many people that we knew, and it turned out to be great. So I was very happy for them that it didn't rain on them, because I thought at first that it might. And also a little shout out to the firefighters who were there, and maybe a little a throw in that we can get them shorts in their dress outfit so that they're not there in dark long pants in the hot sun. That's just my little bit. I did say I was going to tell them I was going to push for it, but they were great events, all of them. I thought maybe with the heat that the Canada Day celebrations, the attendance might be lower, but there were thousands of people there. So kudos, great job.
Councillor Derbyshire.
Thank you. I just want to thank everyone for watching.
Councillor Cameron.
I'm just going to throw in my condolences to the Portugal fans. Their loss this afternoon.
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole, Your Worship.
I'm going to look forward, and being a proud member of Legion Melbourne Branch 510, see Mark's here, you're going to correct me if I'm wrong. July 17th is the 100th anniversary, 150th of the Legion.
100th anniversary.
100th anniversary. There are celebrations in Strathroy, which I'll be attending, and in Mount Bridges. So the Legion plays an important part in our community, and its main focus is for the veterans. So next Friday is the 100th anniversary of Legion here in Canada. So I'll be attending hopefully 3 events. Hopefully my home Legion gets moving on something. So just a note to everybody.
Tickets are available.
There you go. Okay, you gotta get that in there. Consideration of bylaws. There are 8 bylaws in front of you this evening for first, second, third, and final read. Sorry.
Can you just pull 63-23 and 63-26? Sorry, the 2 with Walker Drive,
Sorry, 6326, and what was the other one?
64-26.
64, sorry. Okay, yep, we'll pull those 2. So the 6 remaining, 5926, 6026, 6126, 6226, 6526, and 6626 for first, second, third, and final reading. Someone to bring that. Councillor Pelkman, second by Councillor Brennan. All in favor? Motion carries. So what I'm going to do, we'll get them on the floor. Councillor, motion to approve bylaw number 6326. Someone to bring that motion. Councillor Brennan, Councillor Kennis. Did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Bouchard?
Sorry, I just wanted to ask a question, and it kind of pertains to both of them. Just point of clarification for myself. This isn't, I'm not opposing it. I just, when we put these in, we're just basically saying we approve them, and the next one, like 6426, is asking then for the county to review what we've approved. Is that what these two bylaws are? And as it moves forward through the process, and if it does end up stopped, do we come back and remove these bylaws that we put in, or what happens here? Are they repealed? It's like, I'm just asking a question, just so I know what we're putting in.
Fellow, I know Mr. Williams is not here. I know he could answer it for sure. Could you answer it, Director Lilborn or the clerk?
I'm not able to answer it tonight, but we can bring back some information if we need to, unless the clerk can answer them.
Okay.
I don't want to hold it
No,
up.
we will
I'm not
get
going to
clear.
stop the vote. I just was looking for clarification. When I read it, I was kind of like, what exactly are we putting in? And what happens if it does get not approved? Then do we have to repeal these bylaws?
Director Lilborn, can you send an email to all the council just with clarification as soon as you can?
Yes, Your Worship.
Okay, if you're not going to hold them up, Councillor Derbyshire, I'm going to ask we vote on both 6326 and 6426 together. Someone bring the motion. Councillor Kennis, Councillor Brennan, all in favor? Motion carries. Next meeting is Monday, July 20th at 6 p.m. Motion to adjourn at 7:43. Councillor Pammer, second by Deputy Mayor. Thank you. All in favor? Motion carries. We are adjourned.